Okay, hey everyone. I thought I'd do a video today because tomorrow is the 5th of May. It's free comic book day. I don't know if it's like everywhere in the country, but I know Travelling Man are doing a free comic book giveaway, and I thought I would just make a video to talk about some comic books that I've been reading recently, and just sort of recommend some and just talk about comics in general because I've only recently got back into them, and like years ago when I used to live in Manchester, I used to go to like this second-hand shop and get this comic book called The Annoying Post Brothers, and they were like really old comics and I really loved reading them, but I never really bought new comics because I thought it was all like superhero stuff. I'm really not into superhero comics that much, and I didn't really know what else was out there. It's only recently I started going into like Travelling Man and just like looking through the things, because I love the artwork in these comics. I'm just buying a few and reading them, and then the more I read them, I thought, fucking hell, these are really good. Like, why haven't I been reading these all this time? Like, I've just kind of ignored them, apart from The Annoying Post Brothers for some reason. So I thought I would show some of the ones that I've been reading recently, just talk about what they're like. I find it quite intimidating going into a comic book shop when I don't really know anything about them. Like, the staff in the shops are always friendly, and all that. It's just there's so much. There's comics everywhere. I don't know what the hell I don't know where to start with any of them. Every time I pick one up and think, oh, it looks good, it's like issue number 6 of 8 or something like that. And I think, well, I'm not going to get into the story now. If it's number 6, how am I going to find the other ones? So I thought I would just sort of talk about like some of the ones that I've actually managed to start reading from the start and actually enjoyed. Okay, so the first one, and this is considering I said I don't like superheroes that much, this is just one I read because the YouTube channel Diversity in Comics recommended it, and I thought, oh, I'll give it a go just to kind of get into comics. And it's called Batman the White Knight, which the title made me think it was would be a bit sort of I don't know, a bit social justice-y or something like that, you know what I mean? Which isn't something I'm particularly into, but it's not. It's like, how do I describe it? Like, it's like a Batman story turned on its head or something like that. The one thing I really like about it is the artwork is just incredible. I probably can't focus the camera on it very well. Let me find some good pages. It's just the way, like, the action as well. Like, the action in it is amazing. Like, the way they, I'm not familiar with comic books, so I don't know. Like, to me, this is all fucking new. I'm like, wow, this is like, fucking hell. Look at all this shit going on. It's just really interesting story. It's the Joker basically starts to take over Gotham City, and he starts like a political campaign to win the people round, and he turns the people against Batman. So it's like Batman becomes the villain and the Joker becomes the hero, and it's like what happens with that. It's really interesting. Like, it kind of points out all the strange things about like vigilante heroes, whereas like Batman, basically he just creates loads of fucking chaos every time he tries to stop a villain. He ends up just smashing buildings up and all this, and there's like a Batman relief fund, which it's made out that the city are paying out millions to sort of cover up Batman's destruction, and and there's also this. It's almost like a homoerotic undercurrent between the Batman and the Joker. Like, it turns out, like, it goes on about how the Joker really needs the Batman and the Batman needs the Joker. They're like in this kind of relationship together where it's like a love-hate relationship, but they're like obsessed with each other. and it's about that, like the obsession, like Batman's obsession with the Joker, like destroys him, like it becomes his undoing, and it's just like, for someone who didn't really know anything about comic books, I just found it fascinating, and just like this, like the depth of the story, and how good the artwork is, and all like the psychological elements of it, and like the political stuff in there. Really fascinating comic. I recommend it highly. I can't remember what issue I'm up to now. I think it's number 7. I think number 8's out, but I haven't got it yet. I don't know. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, that really good. I recommend it for someone who doesn't like superhero stuff. I got no interest in like the superhero movies that come out or anything. I just give it a go, and it was fantastic. The next one is this one. I've just finished reading issue 2 of this, so you should be able to get issue 1 and 2 if you go into your comic book shop. The Factory. This was a comic which was written about 10 years ago in French, and it's just been translated and re-released in English, and it's just fucking weird. Look at this. The artwork in it is really good. I love like the sort of sketchy style, but then like the way it's coloured makes it look really good. And there's just all this bizarre shit in there. It's like there's this big factory where they make all the food for this. I guess it's like a planet, and and basically the rest of the planet is starving, and then the factory is like this sort of dictatorship that goes out and like. Well, I don't want to spoil what happens because I've only got through. I've just got through the second episode, like where they're getting the food from. But it's very interesting. There's like a fucking pig man. Look at that, a pig man puking. The pig. There's like a pig people walking through the desert, and they meet a monkey. The monkey takes them to have some food. They eat the food. It makes them puke up and makes them trip balls. And they're like walking through the desert, tripping balls, seeing all weird creatures and things. And I don't know. I thought it was going for like a Wizard of Oz type of thing as well, with the 3 people walking through the desert as if they're going to meet the person, like they're going to meet the Wizard of Oz. I don't know whether that was what they were going for, but I love that palette as well, like orangey, like it gives the impression it was really like desolate, sort of weird alien desert world, and yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I recommend that Factory by Titan Comics. I think most of the ones I've got here are Titan Comics ones, so, and I don't know anything about the different like comic makers. Some of them were shit. This one, the artwork in it's crap. Coming to me, it looks. I picked it up. I thought that looks like kind of weirdly sexual and strange, like these bits. I thought that sounds good, but it's fucking bollocks. And then you get to the back and the writing, it's all fucking intersectional feminist bullshit that I fucking can't stand. What else? There was another one that was another French one that was translated. Here it is. I've only read the first issue. It's fucking thick compared to the other comics I've read. Season of the Snake. A masterpiece. It's like this is like a work of art. The way they've built this world, it's about this like, I can't remember what it's called. Like it's like an intersection for different like star systems or planets or worlds. So like people from different parts of the galaxy arrive here, and it's all about like the diplomacy and stuff. And then there's something else going on underneath it all, and it's almost like a virus, like a mind virus that infects people and sort of charges them with this sort of I don't know, like a bloodlust, or like I don't know, it just makes them act strange. So like the whole comic all the way through is like this really muted palette, which really goes well with the style of the world they're in. It's like this sort of technical, I don't know what it is. It's like a weird sort of, like it's like a weird valley sort of planet, or valleys everywhere with like structures, like all these like different levels of balconies, and there's like strange religions living on there and stuff. I don't want to say like too much about it because it's all a bit mysterious and sort of like, I don't want to say too much. It's more about discovering the world yourself. But then I'll show you what happens when people get infected with this. Suddenly get infected with disease. You can see a little bit more colour coming in, and then all of a sudden, boom! That's like the way they sort of get this across, that there's this like, it's kind of like a rage that goes into people, and it's just like the comic just bursts into life, and like everyone just like starts fighting or doing crazy shit, and like the way it is, like because of the whole rest of the comics, like all this like dullness, and then suddenly boom, this you can see it sort of starts to become colourful, and then it's all like action, and it's like, I don't know, just the way it is. And then you can tell like some people have been infected, some people haven't, and it's like just through the artwork you can tell like there's something going on. It's just like each panel is like a work of art almost. It's really insane. That massive page there, the snake. Yeah, amazing, absolutely amazing. I can't wait to read the second one of this. I haven't got it yet, but I would say get out there and get hold of this one. Definitely. All three of the ones I've recommended so far are really good, but this especially, like the artwork is absolutely like a masterpiece. I thought all the detail, like how they've like built the world. The only problem I've got with it is some of the alien creatures are a bit sort of trite in their design. Like there's a sort of like insect race, and then there's like a tree race. It's all very sort of like, you'd think how like unique the world is that they've built, that they'd actually come up with some ideas for alien races that were entirely unique, but it's just sort of like things that exist on Earth that have been turned into creatures or something. Like there's a whole race of tree people that end up there, and it's like they make a forest in one of the hotels. I don't know. That's my one criticism of it, but apart from that, masterpiece. Oh yeah, this is one I've just I'm reading these in the wrong order. I got this. I bought this purely because I really like the really bad 90s Tank Girl movie. I watched it when I was a kid, and it was like my favourite movie at the time, and I still have fond memories of it, even though it's not critically considered to be a very good film. But I saw this, and Tank Girl, World War Tank Girl. I just picked it up. I didn't realise it was the third one in the series, but the artwork in it is like, it kind of looks like one of those old action comics, like the old war action comics, which attracted me to it. And it's got like some of the one-off artwork things in there are incredible. Let me see what else I can find. Yeah, you can see like how it looks almost like an old, like those old war comics you used to get. I can't remember what they were called. Look at that. That looks like a sort of painting you'd get on a, I don't know, like an old war painting. Look at this. See what I mean? The artwork is amazing, and that's just like the individual panels, but then like the rest of it, like the majority of it is like the comic like that. But it's one of the few comics I've read that made me proper laugh out loud at some of the like the jokes and stuff and that's going in there. Also, I just love like the crazy violence and like the sort of like she just doesn't care about anything. She just charges in and starts poking people's eyes out. She hasn't got any weapons on her, so she just jabs people in the eye and rips them to shreds. And yeah, I think this is a very good comic. And yeah, I've ended up buying. I just bought the other two off eBay because I wanted to just read it from the beginning. So I'm reading the first one now. So yeah, I enjoyed it that much that I actually went back and started to read it from the beginning. And two girls, two tanks. Boom, boom, boom. See, fucking crazy amount of violence in these things, and it's just nuts, the stuff that goes on. I think sometimes there's like stuff in comics, especially from reading the Annoying Post Brothers. There's something in comics that doesn't even exist in cartoons and animation, where it's just this kind of like I feel it like a real anarchy to some of the stories, and I found this in Tank Girl as well. It's like I can't really describe what it is. Just this complete like disregard for anything the characters have, and they just I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. I don't know what else. I've got 2000 AD. This is an old one, but I do look out for it because it's quite interesting. I quite like it though. Like it's got like weird one-off stories in there and stuff, and I like the different art styles because this is more like a magazine. Like it's got different stories in there. There's like a one-off sort of horror story there. So that's quite an interesting one, but I didn't enjoy that as much as the others. It's just something I picked up. So there you go. Tomorrow, May the 5th, is Free Comic Book Day. I know definitely Travelling Man are doing it. I don't know where else, but you can, if you've got a local comic book shop, maybe go and have a look. And I know in Travelling Man, the girl was telling me that they're giving out free comic books, and also they're getting rid of all their back issues. They've got like a cellar full of back issues of comics, which they're selling them all off for £1. And you can buy like a box and fill it with comics. She said it was like £75 for a box, but you can fill it with like 200 comics or something. I don't think I'm really that into comics that I'd spend 75 quid, but you know, I suppose it's a good way to build up your collection. But yeah, if you, this is more a video just for people who might not be into comics, who might want to get into it. I thought I'd spread the word that you can get a free comic tomorrow if you want. And they're a lot better than, like, I don't know, I don't think I give them a chance really, and now that I have, I'm really glad, because yeah, there's just some like amazing artwork and stories that you don't get with like TV and video games and stuff. There's like something completely unique about comic books. So there you go. There's a few recommendations. If you've got any recommendations of your own, if you're like more of a comic book fan than me, you could leave them in the comments, and I'll try and check them out if I can. Hopefully if it's one that I can find the first issue of easily, because I find it annoying reading a comic that's halfway through without knowing what's going on. So anyway, that's it for now. See you later. Thanks for what. Looks all kicking off outside. Alright, bye.